Hello friends, welcome to Code Crush Coding. In this video, we are going to learn one of the interview questions in Java. So the question is, how will you generate the random numbers in Java? So there is a requirement in our project, like we need to generate the random numbers for some specific purpose. So how will you generate those random numbers in Java? So there are basically two ways in which you can generate the random numbers. So the first one is using the random method. So this is a static method which is present inside the class maths. Okay, so we will see in the demo how we can make use of the random method to generate the random numbers. And the second way is using the random class. So this is a method, random method, which is inside the math class, and the second way is using a random class. Now what we will do, we will first see how we can generate a random number using the random method. So here in the Eclipse editor, I have a class called random demo, and inside that class I have one main method. Now what I need to do, I need to make use of random method. So I have already told you there is a class called maths, and this class math contains various methods for performing various numeric operations. Okay, one of the method of this class is random method. So this method returns a double value with a positive sign, and these values are greater than equal to 0.0 and always less than 1.0. Okay, so this methods always returns you a double value which is ranging between 0.0 and 1.0. Now let's see how we can use this. So first thing is you need to make use of the class name. So the class name is math. Okay, so it is an inbuilt class here. So here we need to make use of this math class. So if I select the math class and say a dot, so all the methods which are present inside this maths class will populate here. So we need to make use of random method. As we have seen, we have the random method here. So I will say here random. So see, we are getting this method random and it says double. So this particular method returns a double value with a positive sign greater than equal to 0.0 and less than 1.0. So it's always returns us a double value. Now if I say here random, so what this will do, this will return me a double value. So what I will do, I will store this value into some variable. Now let's declare one variable. So I will say here of type double we will need. So I will say a double, let's say num, and we are storing that particular value inside this variable num. As this is returning as a double value, we are storing it into that data type which is double. Now if I print this num here, print, now if I print this num here, let's say sys out, and let's say value of num, and if I print here num. Now let's save and run this code to check whether we are getting the correct output or not. Here we should have the plus sign. Let's run this code. So see, here value of num we are getting is 0.3156. So this value is ranging between 0.0 till 1.0. Now every time if I run this code, it will generate a different value. Now it has generated 0.31. If I run it for second time, so see, we are getting a 0.54. So in this way you can generate a random values with the help of random method which is present inside this class math. This is a static class because we are directly calling this method with the help of a class name, and this is a static method here, math.random. Now if you want to have a for loop and see how the numbers are getting generated, that also we can do. For example, we will have here for loop. Let's say we want to generate 5 different values here. For int I is equal to 0, I is less than 5, I plus plus, and every time we will generate a value here. Okay, now here what we will do, we will just declare a num here. We'll copy this statement from here. We will declare here, and every time we will say num is equal to math.random, and we will print it inside the for loop. Now let's save this and run the code now. So we will have 5 different values here. Each time the random value will be generated. First time 0.47, then 0.73, 0.4, 0.52 and 0.02, all the values ranging between 0.0 and it is always less than 1.0. Okay, so that is the first way in which you can generate the random values. Now second is using the random class. So here we have used the random method. Now if you want to make use of a random class, then what you need to do, first you need to create the instance of a random class. So once you have created the instance of random class, then you can make use of different methods which are available to generate the random number. Now if I will remove this code of the random method here. Now we will try to generate the numbers with the second way, which is random class. So there is a class called random. So I will say a random. So this is the class here from java.util package. So if I say a random, and you need to create the instance. So you already know how to create the instance of a class. I will provide the link in the description. You can go through it. Here I will say obj. This is the instance of my class, and then you need to make use of new operator and then the class name again, random. So in this way you have created the instance of this built-in class or already available class called random, and this is your object or the instance of this particular class random. Now what you will do, let's say you want to generate the integer values. With the help of a random method which we have seen, we can only generate the double values, but with the help of a random class you can generate double as well as the integer values as well. Now let's see how we can generate the integer values here. So you can generate the integer values with the help of this instance object that you have, obj. Then you can provide your dot, and then you can see the different values available here. So you can see different methods available here. So we can make use of next int. So if I say here next int, then the integer value will be generated. If I say here next float, then float value will be generated. If I say double here, then the double value will be generated. I will say here next int, and here you can pass a range. Let's say you want to generate the random values from 0 to 100. So here you can pass 101. So if you pass here 101, so it will generate the random values including 0 till 100. But when you say here 101, so 101 will not be included. So never the random value will be generated 101. If I say here 100, then the values will be generated from 0 till 99. Means 99 is inclusive. But if you provide here 100, so 100 will not be generated. Okay, so I will say here 101 to get it generated till 100. Now this will be returning me integer, right? So I will save it in one integer. Let's say we have one integer here, int, let's say num. Now this is the value that we will be storing here, and I will print that num here, sys out, and I will say here num. Now let's run this code. So see, we are getting a 64. So every time different value will be generated. Now 44. So it is between a particular range here. The number will be always lesser than 101. So 41 this time. If I run next time, it's 6. So if I don't provide any number, then what will happen? Let's see. So there is no upper limit provided, right? So it will generate the random numbers accordingly. So this time this particular number is generated. If I run it again, then this time this negative number is generated because we haven't provided any range here. Accordingly, you can provide the range. So if I say here 200, so it will generate the numbers from 0 till 199. So see, 184 is generated. So this time we have generated a integer numbers from this instance of the class random. Now what we will generate? We will generate the float now. Let's declare another variable of type float. Float, let's say num1, and we will say your obj dot next float, and we will print that num1 here. Let's print it, and let's run this code. So this float value is generated now 0.14. So we can also provide a range here for float. So accordingly the numbers will be generated. In similar ways, you can also generate the random numbers for the double value. Just you need to provide here the next double method, and accordingly you will get the double values. So that are the two ways that in which you can answer this question, that how will you generate a random numbers in Java. So you need to say, using the random method of the class math, you can generate a random values, and also using the random class. So first you need to create an instance of that class. After you create the instance of class, you need to make use of the methods that you want to generate a value. If you want to generate an integer, then next int you should use. If you want to generate a float values, then you should use next float. So that's it in this video. We will cover another interview questions in next video. Thank you for watching.